double check if we are live. And we do have a very, very, very busy schedule today. Start as fast as I can. Just double checking the sound. One second. Test, test, test. All right. Content. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Crypto Bureau. Great to have you on the call. Just want to make sure the sound is good myself and we're going to proceed. Test, test, test. Yes. Okay, good. Sound is good. All right. The topic of the discussion today is I would like to start with morning as well. I would like to start with the concept of zombie chains, and we had a pretty interesting call with the council yesterday, um, inspired by WYNC. Good morning as well. Inspired by this call, and just in time as usual. Things typically happen completely randomly. Just in time. When we posted that Ghost beat Verge Network right there on the screen, with 42 nodes and Ghost is at 99 nodes, we got a backlash. So far we got a backlash from Theta. The Theta backlash was mostly resolved by complete inability of Theta fans to provide any type of feedback regarding the fact that the Theta chain is more decentralized than we claim it is. We claim that at most, based on the documentation, Theta only has 31 validators. Is it good or bad? We had a conversation yesterday with the Rockpool Clown. Well, that's his nickname, username. We'll just refer to him as ABS. So ABS was asking great questions yesterday on the call, on this AMA call. We also had some Discord people, part of the Node Runner community. And he asked an interesting question: why Ghost is so, why the number of nodes is so important? Like, why are we trying to become more nodes than anybody else? And while this is a good question, to me, that's like a no question. I don't even understand why anybody would ask this question. But since 90% of what we do is education, it's important to educate, right? So, why would Web3? The whole point of Web3 is not to. We have to really understand this, right? Like, we're not here trying to be rich, become rich through pump and dump schemes, through some type of meme coin working out, some type of NFT collection working out. Nothing bad with that. Money is money. You can do whatever. Lots of people, start businesses that get luck, and they get lucky, doing a hair salon. So there's nothing bad with that, right? Like, I will never criticize somebody becoming rich through, through those riskier investments or riskier speculations. But that's not why we are in Web3. We are in Web3 because, Rakshit, good morning. We are in Web3 because some of us, or hopefully all of us, are completely tired of overregulation. We're tired of this over control. With digital space, the level of control is going to become more and more severe. And we must be educated, right? Because the big dragon, Rahul, good morning. The big dragon is the government, right? Sometimes, right? And not just a specific government, not just like a government of of a European nation or government of the North American nation or the Southeast Asian. No. All governments, if they can, they will be attempting to control you more. Because why wouldn't they? Right? It's easier for them to control. They may not say your good morning. They're not even trying to necessarily do something bad, right? They're just controlling you because why wouldn't you control, right? Uh, Everybody, like Syria. I'm not sure if you guys follow the news. Syria fell, the government ran away, and now with the help of Turkey, the country or Turkey, how they call it nowadays, Syria is essentially starting a new government, right? The reason why that happened because there was the military of Syria was not defending the country, right? I don't want to go into politics here. Like I don't know the situation in depth enough to become a political observer, but it's clear that the rebels were able to essentially conquer the entire country within 1 or 2 weeks without any resistance from the army, from the military of Syria, right? So it's a clear definer, 21st century or not. Oh, we're trying to be civil or not. Military is important, meaning force is important. So countries will be using military as usual, as always, right, to defend their borders and to extend their influence. That's why, for example, countries like United States at this moment, the fleet of United States is all over the world. And 100 years ago, the fleet of United Kingdom was the Great Britain was all over the world, um, right? And then before that, it was Spain and Portugal, and to some extent Netherlands, I believe, as well. So they were all trying to extend the Mongol Empire was huge. They were all trying to extend their influence. So if the governments can logically control us, they will. Why wouldn't they? It's not that they're necessarily evil. People say, "Oh, they're evil." Maybe there are definitely some evil, components, but it's just common sense. If I can collect more statistic, or if I can have more tools to control the economy, I will do this. Like for example, we all hopefully all of us here are scared about CBDC. What's wrong with CBDC? They say, well, CBDC. The problem is they can create new type of money. Like the new type of money, saying good morning. New type of money is they give you money, and then there's a deadline until when you need to use this money. Otherwise, it just gets burned. Yeah, sure. But consider this from a different perspective, from the government perspective. Government is trying to, instead of offering additional money printing, they'll just be burning supply of cash. So that's another tool for them to control the economy. Of course, most of the time, as we know, most governments fail. In fact, all governments, all nations, all empires failed. It's not like so. All that stuff is temporary. So what we're trying to do with Web three, like it was a huge segue. Going back to the Web three, what we're trying to do with Web three is we're trying to retain our control or capture or get our control back. That's very clear with the internet. Some of you guys who are young enough, I know Sarge's people, some of them are very young, so you guys don't remember necessarily how amazing internet used to be. Mr. Adiki, I think you remember how internet used to freaking be amazing about 20 years ago. It was no censorship or very little censorship. It was amazing. You could there was definitely some bad stuff, some bad guys doing some bad stuff, absolutely. But the amount of freedom, the amount of hope that internet brought as a free communication platform that would unite, that would give freedom of speech. You can do whatever you want. You can be heard. That just was super freaking hopeful. Same thing with Web3. Like again, keep returning to this. Back in 2016, 2017, before that, my God, crypto it was not a price action thing. It was like we can get our stuff back. We can get our control back. We can actually, decide our futures together. Now, today, how can you decide the future today? In certain countries, you need to report that you have crypto. And that's an interesting thing. Like, let's assume you report. How do you report? First of all, you report to the government. But how do you report to the government? In order to report to the government on your tax form or whatever, you need to essentially use, there are three ways to do this, right? The first way is to use a paper form. So you take a paper form and you put how much crypto you have. Okay, fine. But crypto form, like many people don't know how to use it, and then you need to mail it. So that's probably the safest way. In which case, only the tax department contains the information about your holdings. And of course, the leakage and people in the tax department. Tax department is full of people, right, who can leak that information for potential criminals, right? That's option one, paper form. This is the safest option. Second option, you use some type of electronic tax preparation service. In which case, if that service is hacked, the whole thing is hacked, right? Like now everybody knows how much crypto you have. It exists to the entire world. I mean, everybody knows who you are. They have your social security number. They have your address. They have everything about you. They even have your email. Like they have phone number. They have all the information to hack you. So that's very interesting of what governments are doing. Third option, you go to a tax preparer, professional tax preparer. Well, now you have to trust that tax preparer because it's also full of people. And interestingly enough, you guys probably don't know, you don't rarely do you sign some type of agreement of non-disclosure with that specific tax preparer, and it's full of people, and those people can also leak the information to the bad people. Of course, if you have $100, nobody will do anything. But if you have half a million, million, 10 million, oh, now that's an issue. That's a huge issue now, right? And again, back in 2017, that was not an issue. That was all fine. But now, in more and more regulations, making this whole crypto scene obsolete, and we've seen this more and more. So going back, while Web3, is supposed to not be for the price action. Price action is a consequence of a proper tokenomics, of proper community, etc. The whole point is utility. Do we want to get our control back? Like that's what we are fighting for. And the question from ABS was, why are we interested in more nodes? Well, we're interested in more nodes because we want to give everybody an equal chance to fight. And when we have some chains like Verge, like some other chains like Theta, where Theta has 31 validator nodes, would like becoming a validator, you will never become a validator because Katy Perry is a validator. Not her, but her freaking institution, CAA, whatever, the Creative Arts Something Association. You are not given an option to fight back. You're just given an option like a sheep to hold their token, hoping for a price action and defending their stupid fucking views on the in the Twitter space or X space, whatever. Right? So that's the situation. Now we, on the other hand, as Ghost, we want more nodes because we want the permissionless access of any user to run a node and therefore be responsible for their own future. What does it mean in perspective of Ghost? So A, validate transactions on the Ghost chain. Fine. But that's, lots of chains can do this. Not all of them, but many. Apart from maybe 10% of chains can actually do this. Where the requirements to run a node is pretty tiny, and you can become your own node, thus validate your own transactions, or at least run a full node so you have your own RPC endpoint, and therefore everything loads very fast for you, and you don't have to trust anybody. Okay, cool. But what if? But with Ghost, you also have the bridging capacity, right? So now you can bridge from Ethereum to Avalanche, from Avalanche to Polygon, from Polygon to Phantom, from Phantom to Gnosis, and so on and so forth. So you can connect all the EVMs. So in this case, you don't need any centralized exchange. You do need centralized exchange to on-ramp or off-ramp your cash for or fiat for crypto or crypto for fiat. Sure, use the centralized exchange. That's it. Once you got your EVM crypto, which is on any EVM chain, then you can use Ghost. That's the concept. So now, why would you want to be a validator of Ghost? Well, because in this case, you are essentially delegating to yourself the functionality of a centralized exchange, because you are able to swap a token from Ethereum to a token on Avalanche chain. And you are yourself, as a Ghost validator, you validate those bridging transactions as well. So you validate both the Ghost internal transactions, but you also validate the bridging transactions. So you validate your own transactions, plus you validate other people's transactions. So that's how it works, right? So that's why we need to make sure that Ghost is as permissionless as possible, because we are focusing on decentralized connection of the EVM ecosystem together. At some point of time, we may extend to, I don't know, Neo Protocol and whatever, Solana, whatever, and UTXOs, if we are able to build a proper decentralized architecture. Okay. Now, the reason why we have this whole oh, we beat chain XYZ, oh, we beat chain ABC, because we want to show how centralized those other blockchains are. So it's kind of like a meme, right? It's like, oh, just some random freaking people. Sargio just brought some random people. I just brought some random people. Cosmos just brought some random people. Metanoma just brought some random people. Mr. DK brought some random people. Dr. K brought some random people. Like, we all brought some random people. We together, some random freaking people, average users, are able to beat multi-billion-dollar fucking blockchains based on decentralization alone. That's the funny part, right? Like, that's so fucking funny. How the just random people, just average users, we are able to beat multi-million-dollar funded by VCs Web 2.5 projects. That's the fun part. So, and an interesting component going further is so far we are purposefully trying to see which projects, like we're trying to, how to say, more like instigate, right, some type of reaction from these Web 2.5 projects, and we don't see reaction. We only see the solid reaction from Theta, and that was pretty futile. So what happens to Verge is another level. So let's look at this, right? So of course we're going to dive deeper because maybe we are wrong, maybe we are incorrect. So we said projects like Verge, Web 2.5 Dynasty. Okay, obviously use some some not so good lingo potentially, kind of a little bit on the aggressive side. Okay, fine. Interestingly enough, they reacted. Okay, great. So somebody asked when testnet. That's I think our guy. This gentleman who looks to be sounds like a founder. Why? Because founder of Verge Currency. Verge. So quickly about this project. Verge used to be the hot shit. It used to be amazing. Vivek, good morning as well. It used to be amazing. Why? Because they started too early. So there are three ways to start a project. You can be first, you can be smarter, or you can cheat. Right? That's from the movie Margin Call. And this guy was just fast. So he launched this project in 2014. It was obviously a fork of Bitcoin. And by the time of 2017-18, when Ethereum was a hot shit, this guy became the next Vitalik Buterin. But he's not clearly Vitalik Buterin. That's why this whole fucking thing collapsed. Because this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And we'll look into this like in more detail. I saw his interview. I saw who he is. Verge actually used to be a hot shit project. Still, to some extent, is. Now the market cap used to be $3 billion. So at that point of time, he was probably the friends of all the ladies. He would probably go to any conference. He was invited as a speaker as this massive, big ghost banana, as we like to call him, and portray everywhere. But long and behold, right before the pump, the market cap dropped to $70 million. Right, it's nothing. The only reason it's at 200 million right now is because the pump happened. The recent pump, right, that last 2 months. So this project is clearly dying. And then the question is, okay, so it's a dying project. It's a zombie chain, as we discussed with the council yesterday. Now let's look why that's a zombie chain. So we discovered 14 new nodes. Now this guy, who's the founder, for some reason has time on a Friday of such an amazing project as he claims it is, to freaking comment, to some tweet. 42 nodes, nonsense. We have thousands. Whoever came up with 42 is a crypto noob. Okay, we are crypto noobs. Now, of course, then no comment. Just read that. That's supporters of Verge. Again, Verge used to be a hot project. It's a privacy type of project. The question is, if it's a privacy project, how come this guy? I can find everything about this guy online. Doesn't really end. Is followed by McAfee, right? So John McAfee, who's our guy, was actually following this dude. So again, Verge used to be a project, not anymore. Yeah, that's us. Then let's go to the next comment so we continue the discussion. So I think Cosmos jumped in. And we like to collect sources. So all the source of any information we like to store just so we have, we have it all to show. So, okay, we continue. So we are crypto noobs. Okay, fine. And then we are going to this website right here. So that's where the information was taken from. The information is from Verge Blockchain, which is their official thing. Now it's 42. It used to be 42 peers. Now it's 40 peers, right? So that's the best information. That's the Explorer. That's where the information was taken from, peers, right? So where else can we fucking get the nodes? We say that's 40 nodes. To which the guy says, just that particular website, peer Mao. So when you lose arguments, you typically start saying ha 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 or ma or lol. And this guy already lost arguments, so he started kind of doing this thing. Cosmos says, okay, if that's the case, then show us the source of truth, right? Like where all the nodes are located. That's not even possible in Verge because Verge is so special. Every running wallet is a node. But if you think, which is fine, could be, right? Then give us the fucking source of nodes, of wallets. Like give us something available. But if you think about it quite simply, we have over 40 exchanges. So this fucking idiot thinks that being on centralized exchanges for a privacy project is a good thing. When you read his Twitter, his recent tweets were, oh, it's a FUD that all the privacy projects are being delisted. So this guy is clearly for the price action. He probably made a lot of money already. He just wants to retain being this hot shit, unrealized Vitalik, because he used to be like Vitalik. Like nobody knows who this is. Um, but guys, like it's a, what do you think? Like, would be curious to hear your opinions. But from my personal perspective, when you are a privacy project and you are a public persona behind this private project, and you are, showing bravado that you are listed on central exchanges that you are supposed to be kind of, fighting against, over exchange, and each one is a node. So goes even further. Not that we are only live on 40 exchanges, but every single exchange we're so cool, we're so ballsy that every single exchange is a node, which is true. Potentially true or not, right? The reason why it may not be true is because all the websites, or most of the websites of Verge, and we started checking yesterday, the partners that they had, when you click on the partners, those partners don't exist anymore. Like, meaning the URLs that, behind those partners are just not available. Like, it's for sale, right? So this is probably incorrect as well. But to be bravado about the fact that, hey, listen, we are central exchanges, we are, this and that. Okay, interesting. There has been a few thousand downloads of our latest version that has been out for a month. Ha ha ha! I'm glad this is public. Okay, show us the downloads. How many of these downloads are not bot downloads? How many of these downloads are actually active users? And also maybe give us like a source of, to the white paper, like give us something. Nothing, right? So no links. So we continue. Cosmos continues because for some reason he's fired up. And be all whatever. Now this guy, so this kid shows all the notes, and this guy says, give us this note. This now notes super well. The reason why I know them very well, extremely well, is because I thought for quite a long time, maybe for 2 years, that this number 106, I was like trying to find the node operators for EOS, and the only source for EOS specific was now nodes. But when you check he's like, oh, Verge is like here. So the guy's clueless. Because when you go to now nodes and check any blockchain, could be Verge, could be XYZ, could be EOS, it will always show the same number, just the number of nodes available to be, nodes for a chain. Does not mean that these are for Verge or for EOS or for Bitcoin. That is just available for a chain. So this guy has no fucking clue. We continue. Now nodes, obviously we say that now nodes has 106 for any network, not just, Cosmos brings the screenshot. That's not even possible in Verge. Every running wallet is a node. But if you think, okay, that has been already said. Here's the thing, right? So he's a founder with 30,000 subscribers, including John McAfee, who's a subscriber, who's a follower. Now the chain has 300,000 followers. 300,000 followers, for God's sake. And he's getting 4 likes for his responses with 38 impressions. That must be saying something. That must be saying something. Our point is, lots of these chains, the reason why they don't have that many nodes is because they're zombie chains. The market cap is there still, sure. And even the volume is there. Which is kind of surprising, right? So if you look at the 7-day chart here, we look at 200 million market. Again, if you look at a month before the pump, or like whatever, maybe a year before here, right? Like it was 100, and if you look for years, it was 60 million right there, right? So, but the volume is quite good, to be honest. It's 15 million. Then the question is, how much of that volume is real? How much of that volume is fake? Because we know, based on lots of research, 90% of plus of the stuff is completely fake. So, good morning, good evening. So just this dive deep analysis shows, more and more than kind of the concept that most chains are most likely zombies is true. What I have here. Now he says, well, okay, check out this xvg.nownodes.io, connect and see for yourself. So we did. And it was 4-5, not allowed. To which this guy said, it's a seed, you fucking noob. Thank you so much. That's very amazing for a founder to speak like this to a person who's actually trying to find the source of truth. And Cosmos, in his amazing tonality, see the chain has been live since 2014, 10 fucking years, and there's no publicly available UI website to see how many nodes there are in total. And he's like, ha ha ha, you don't understand how dynamic networks work. Of course we don't, because who cares about your fucking chain? Give us a fucking link to documentation. Explain it to us. Like, we are here to actually search for truth. Ha 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 ha, lots of ha ha ha's. He's apparently extremely extremely laughing. So that's essentially the discussion. I think the key, which we need to dive deeper into, is the GitHub commits. Uh, it only came from this guy, Justin, because his name is Justin, because he's so private. Um, he's the only committer for the last like year. Nobody else cares when you like drop down, like that's it, nothing. So uh, the reason why I'm spending so much time on Verge, and we like this type of debates or outflows or whatever discussions, whatever you call it, battles, right? The reason why we like that is it just shows a complete proof of what we've been saying for years. Lots of that stuff is Web 2.5. For a blockchain to be bravado about the fact that you are listed on a centralized exchange, I mean, that's just fucking insane, especially if you're a privacy project. Like, you're supposed to be like Monero, and we're going to get to Monero in a second. We're going to see, like, the difference between Monero, which is a true privacy project, and this piece of shit. That used to be hot and actually used to be a good one. But no wonder they only have 40 peers. We need to do dive deeper before we can, essentially present all this stuff that we find, since this guy's being so loud. So we'll dive deep into the docs, into the Git, and maybe we are wrong. Maybe they do have thousands of nodes. We don't know. But so far, the only thing that we are using as a source of truth is this 40. And the reason why there's only 40 nodes is because it's a zombie chain. Nobody cares about it, yet the market cap is 200 million. And that's our competition. That's our competition. So we need to have more nodes because that's the whole point. Ghost empowers permissionless approach by the users. That's the whole point. So it's very, very, very important for us to have as many nodes as we can. Thanks to lots of you guys. I'll say the thing. Thanks, huge thanks. A little later today, but you guys are, just beasts. Thanks to you guys, we are able to absolutely, crush it on the node part. The adoption keeps going, and please, please, please keep going. We like what we're seeing so far. Let me get to some of the questions before I proceed to Monero. Core Wallet is a node. Core Wallet, often known as a full node wallet, is type of cryptocurrency wallet that downloads and maintains a complete copy of the blockchain. I mean, thank you so much. I get it, right? But give us how many wallets are operational right now. Because what they like to do, they like to say, we have 1 million downloads, hence we have 1 million nodes. Just because you have downloads, how many of those wallets are available at the moment? How many of those wallets are public? Because what they do, they just go ahead, either mimic the stats by, whatever, or if they're publicly available, say the wallet is listed on, I don't know, Apple Store or Google Store, which is like a fucking joke. They can easily easily inflate the statistic. Let alone, let's not forget that this project has been live for a long time. Right, so the most right thing they did, they launched early. And when they were 3 billion market cap back in 2017, of course they had lots. Like, he was the hottest shit on the block. He was like the next Vitalik. That's what people thought. I guarantee he was. I was already in the space at that point of time, and to be honest, I didn't hear about Verge. Like, Verge was not hot back then. But at 3 billion, they were definitely top. I don't know, top 50 projects. They were on the first page of CoinMarketCap. They were hot. So they got lots of downloads. Now, who cares about these downloads to now? Like, just because somebody downloaded it back in the day doesn't mean that it's active, right? So we care about the active nodes at any point of time. Why? Because for me let's assume it's 40 nodes. For me to execute a 40 or a 51% attack on the network, all I'm doing is I'm running 41 extra nodes. Boom. That's it. That's it. So, interesting. Okay, moving on. Now, the approach for Monero is very different. And Cryptomus Prime, let's talk about Ghost. Of course, we're going to be talking about everything. So, now Monero is a very different approach, right? Monero is, those legends that we are trying to emulate as far as kind of the principles of decentralization. Now, check this out. This message did not exist. We believe we posted this on Wells. This message did not exist 2 weeks ago, but this is real. This stuff is real. If they're speaking about it, it's real. There has been an influx of malicious nodes hosted by, they put chain analysis, I think on purpose, like in order for Chainalysis not to sue them. So chain analysis, but it's really Chainalysis, which is a government agency or government funded agency for tracking, tracing everything, and government agencies which spy on Monero users. Some of them may be in this list. It's impossible to know. To best protect yourself from surveillance, please use Tor or run your own node. This message did not exist 2 weeks ago. How do I know? Because I was taking statistic about the nodes of Monero. Now, Verge says there are no peers. Monero, despite being potentially surveilled, whatever, by the regulators, boom, all the nodes are here. They have about 300 nodes, and Monero is in a tough situation given the fact that lots of central exchanges delisted them. There's also in a tough situation because Monero is this isolated island. Like they're not connected through bridges to other blockchains. Those bridges, since Monero is a UTXO, those bridges will be in any case centralized. So they're just an isolated island, but the quality of community is so freaking great and the ethos is so amazing. The project is just full with die-hard fans, and that's what we would like to be. But the message here just tells us that listen, like when if at some point of time Ghost ever goes mainnet, well it will. I'm saying, and after the mainnet, like let's assume at some point of time, hopefully we're on the first page for some time, we may experience very similar risks that Monero is experiencing. So just to warn everybody, all of us, please take this project seriously. If you're running a node, if you're being a validator, please take this project very seriously. Meaning, don't you think that's just another crypto project. If you think this is another crypto project, the best idea is to leave. I'm totally serious. I don't think we'll miss you much. Leave because join something else. Jump pumps dumps. Join those what's it called, the airdrop hunter things, like the NFT collection airdrops, whatever. Because here we may face issues because we actually solving a problem. The problem that we're solving here is we are fighting centralized exchanges via a completely decentralized architecture, right? So we may be like under similar risk that Monero is. And Amit said XMR is freedom, true freedom, 100%, 1000%. Kudos, like Monero is huge. XMR is the Monero coin, huge. You may be under the same thing. So when you're running a node, you need to understand that there's inherent risks at some point of time down the road. We're not doing anything bad. We're not doing anything illegal. But that's what it is. Regulators don't like that. Regulators don't like projects they cannot control. Ghost will be one of those projects that is going to be tough to control if we are able to retain our decentralization through distributed nodes. Which leads me to one of the points. VPSs are great. You guys keep running VPS at this point of time, virtual servers, please do. If there's an optionality for you guys, an option for you to use a physical machine, not your personal computer, but a physical machine that can be online 24/7, it's highly advisable to use that machine instead. Because what we will see instead, we will see lots of nodes located in a specific location. At this point of time, I think it's St. Louis. Lots of locations over there. How do I know? Because I see the telemetry. Which is not public yet, but we'll make it public very soon. So St. Louis, it's like lots of VPSs over there. What happens if that specific server, location gets shut down for whatever, like electricity outage? Boom, we just lose lots of nodes, and now the network is susceptible to 51% attack and not all these other things, or slashing, at least for you guys. Another source of these virtual service we see massive in Europe. I'm not going to name countries at this point of time because I, frankly speaking, just forgot like the specific cities. But if VPS is great, run a node on a VPS versus not running a node. Of course, run a node on a VPS. But if you have an option to run a node on a physical machine, you should do that. Obviously, make sure that's not your home computer because that machine must be 24/7 available, right, to avoid slashing. So that's the situation. Any questions, please shoot my way through the chat. So far, so good. Let me move to now the positive, I guess, some positive developments. You guys see the PowerPoint? Yeah, here we go. Okay. So thanks to many influencers, I would say, and also the individual users who follow the league, we were able to break through 101 nodes. I don't want to isolate anybody in particular because it's going to be kind of unfair to some extent. But of course, there have been some influences who helped us bridge through this massive milestone of 100 nodes. As of today, let me just check the telemetry, which is not available to you guys yet. Based on the telemetry, I'm seeing at this moment somebody, well, Dr. K in particular, he has 102 peers, so we're looking at 103 nodes as of today for sure. I've seen his numbers be at 104, 105 peers, therefore we actually at 105 to 106 nodes. The telemetry Excel spreadsheet shows how many. One second. The telemetry Excel shows 103. So we're definitely above 100. That's what's clear. And thanks to all of you guys for that. Now, with more than 100 nodes, we are close to beating our 105 median, which is the median of the top 100 blockchains in the world. Right? All these blockchains are about 100 million market cap. So within 2 months, we were able to breach through. Now, what's interesting is I forgot to include the poll. We had a poll about a month ago, November 28th, actually exactly a month ago, exactly 30 days ago. And this poll was asking how many nodes will we have by the end of December. And there were 4 options: 20 nodes, 30 nodes, 50 nodes, and 70 nodes. The consensus has been at 50 nodes. However, the weighted average has been around 52 nodes because some people voted for 70. So by the end of December, the best case scenario was for us to get to 52 nodes. Thanks to you guys, the whales, and also the bananas, we'll talk about this a little bit later. Thanks to you guys, we were able to get to 100 plus nodes by the end of December, thus essentially doubling the most, maximum oriented estimates. And the next poll is that we initiated is how many nodes are we going to have by the end of January. At this point of time, the voting has been pretty aggressive. Let's try to realize on that. That's going to be pretty challenging. So far, the numbers look at around 300. I'm not sure that's possible by the end of January to get to 300 nodes. That's going to be insane if it is. But the more nodes that you bring, the faster that we accelerate the launches of individual features. Right. So again, we can launch everything very fast. Lots of stuff is already done. The biggest elements that are not finalized are user interfaces, which is the easiest thing to do. Right? The user interface for the wallet, the user interface for the Explorer, the user interface for the Ghost DAO with all the specific features of arbitrage, the user interface for the wallet extension because it's a substrate chain, thus your wallet will be in your extension, just like it's in a MetaMask. Like the UIs are not there. The backend is there, has been there for a long time. The reason why we're pacing the launches is because we want to make sure that we get enough adoption, right? So we don't lose on conversion. But if we get lots of nodes, lots of adoption, then of course we're going to accelerate because that will be a signal that everybody is able to catch up with stuff, right? So we would like to launch as fast as we can, but not faster than we need. So realistically, the mainnet will be 3 to 6 months away if we keep this, maybe 9 months away if we keep at this pace, right? Keep going at this pace. But there are so many more elements to be launched, right? The chain, even the chain, we don't have all the elements yet. We don't have telemetry yet. You guys finally got your Caspers. We're going to talk about this in a second, but you don't know how to send it yet. We're not talking about staking yet. There's no governance, on-chain governance yet. All those features are there. We just need to finish the user interfaces, present it, blah, blah, blah. So how to say, slowly but surely going through. So yeah, let's try to be this 105 median. That will be huge if you can do this by the end of December. And then we'll see how that is going through. Now, the next one. So this is what we showed to the council yesterday. So these are all the blockchains that we already beat, thanks to you guys, thanks to Whales. All like this box plot, like already done, like all the chains already done. This is Digibyte or Digibyte, also one of the chains that launched around the same time as Verge back in 2013, 2014. They only got $250,000 in funding. Back in the day, they probably forked Bitcoin. This one, I keep forgetting what I wanted, but one of these chains got $451 million in funding. So it's crazy. Now the median funding was 60 million. So I remember Anubov, maybe a month ago, I just keep coming back to his comment. Um, we are we are able to, like, how are we able to fight with the big boys? They have like big investors and big partners, and how are we able to fight with them? Well, we're already fighting with them. Like, we already beat them. Like, the median funding was at $60 million, and we beat that stuff within 2 months. Thanks to you, some average users beat these networks based on decentralization alone, and I think it's crazy. Thanks to you guys again. This is like we super duper appreciate it, and that what makes us not sleep and work our asses off to make sure that we provide as much customer user support as we possibly can to accommodate for your issues and present as much content as we can. So Amit is asking how many nodes the team is eyeing for on mainnet. So that's a great question, and we discuss this question quite often. There's no number because any single number that we say, let's assume we say 1,000 nodes, or let's assume we say 500 nodes, or let's assume we say 10,000 nodes. Once that number is reached, we will have to be obliged to launch a mainnet, even if we are not ready. Because what happens is we need to look at a number of factors. We need to look at the nodes. We need to look at the distribution of VPS versus physical machines. We need to look at the actual geo distribution, right? Like, where are these nodes located? Like, if they're all located again, let's assume hypothetically let's assume there are 200 nodes and 150 nodes are located in St. Louis. Maybe that's not a good idea, right? Maybe we are because if 150 nodes go down because St. Louis location just goes down, because of electrical or internet outage, then what? We just lost 75% of the nodes for that specific couple of hours. There's no finalization of the transactions. There's slashing. Those 150 users, node operators or validators, going to be super upset, right? Because the VPS just kind of let them down. So it's just not a fun thing. However, at the same time, it creates massive optics. Once we have 100 nodes, it's easier to get more nodes. More nodes get more nodes. Motion creates motion. So should we keep getting more nodes? Like, let's assume Sergio keeps bringing them. Should we get more nodes from Sergio? Fuck yeah, of course we should. Why? Because it's easier for us to onboard new nodes as well, right? So it's a game here. It's more like a feel. It's an art, not a science. We will not know for sure how many nodes we need. The ballpark is if we get to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, that'll be insane. Chances are we need to fucking launch, right? Like, maybe the sweet number is somewhere within 2,000 nodes, maybe. But again, we don't know, right? Like, it has to be how much TVL will those nodes bring, right? Because we need to make sure we also have enough TVL, right? So how much is that? So there are many factors, but those are great questions to be discussing, right? Like, we need to have a good understanding of. We need to make sure you guys have a good understanding of what we're trying to do, right? Like, right. So we all need to be on board. Like, it's a community-driven project. We all need to be understanding where we're going together. The king is asking, please public your funding on CryptoRank so your network spreads more fastly. Yeah, we don't have it. It's a community-driven project. We don't have any public funding when it comes down to, like selling coins, because we're not selling any coins. The only funding we have is from council, and this funding appears as a development agreement. And this development agreement is for specific deliverables. So that's how it works. Crypto Bureau, how many pools can we create in the testnet? Uh, the answer is the more, as many as you want, like as many as you want. Like, that's the whole point. Let me just be a little bit transparent. What we discussed yesterday with the council. What we discussed was the project is moving so damn fast, thanks to you guys, that it's outgrowing each one of us. So the project will dictate, like, you guys as a community will dictate what to do. Makes sense, right? And we need to either adopt, as council, or we're going to let you down, and therefore some changes have to happen, right? To make sure that we all work in synergy together, right? The council, the whales, and also the bananas, right? So we need to make sure we all work together. That's what we'll be discussing. So when you're asking like how many pools can we create in the testnet, how about we just do it? And then because we also have some other communities coming out of Discord slowly but surely. That's interesting. We're getting definitely more color and kind of more awareness. Uh, the number of tweets getting more views, more likes. I'm getting more PMs from node operators and from non-node operators, like in the last month. So I think we're catching this wave again, thanks to you guys. So how about we just do it? Like whatever you guys want to do, just go for it. Like don't find pushback. I think there's one specific question that I need to address. How many nodes can one person run? As many as you want. As many as you want. There's no limitation one node per person. It's ideal. But you don't have to like a block, like meaning like you can run 100 nodes. Nobody will say a thing. It's not going to be nice for the network, maybe. I mean, obviously, okay. It's better for the network to have 100 nodes distributed across 100 different locations and 100 different users. Absolutely. But if you can run 100 nodes for one person, why wouldn't you do that? If you really want to do it, go for it. Why wouldn't you do it? Right? Is it a Sybil attack? Sure, it's a Sybil attack. You're doing this attack. You can do whatever you want. Now, it's for other members to do the same to make sure that they are not being attacked by you. And that's how we do, like, that's the distribution of forces. Like, there's not going to be, we can't punish anybody, and we're not going to punish anybody for being active. Oh, sorry, like, CryptoBro, I'll use you as a bad example, but like, which is not true. But let's punish CryptoBro because he's running 5 nodes as an individual. Why? Why would we do that? That's insane. Of course we would. Right? So you like try to do whatever you want to do, right? Like and then we're going to be adjusting to what you guys are doing. So I think that's a way better, right? Instead of asking for permission, break things, and let the project move towards it. Like let the project adopt on its own. But that's a great question, and thank you for asking. But yeah, like let's try to be more permissionless, right? Like just do things. Let's just go for it. What CryptoBro did, I think, like with the script, totally fucking amazing. I think Scientio back in the day was also doing something similar. Amazing stuff. Like that's how the project evolves when you guys become, owners of this project, right? That's the only way how it's gonna work, right? If you want to go for community-driven project, that's the only way how it's gonna work. All right. So interesting enough, we have cumulative funding that we outpaced. Again, but going back to Anubov, so Ghost is right there with 100 nodes. We outpaced $3 billion worth of cumulative funding by all these blockchains, including Chiliz, BitTorrent, Arbitra, Mantra, blah, 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 Kava, Digibyte, Stellar, even Casper, because Casper used to be Legends. Not sure if they're Legends now, but used to be Legends for sure. So that's how we fight. We just be more decentralized. We just be more decentralized and offer actual utility to the problem. Amit is asking, nodes can do double spending. Nodes is equal to validators of transactions. Nodes at this point of time. So for the great question, for the testnet, we have full nodes and validators. Validators validate transactions. Full nodes are essentially working as light nodes, right? Syncing the ledger. That's kind of how it works. On the mainnet, we will have light nodes and we will have validators. Today, we have 10 validators out of 105 nodes. We have 10 validators, 95 nodes. But we will be graduating these node guys into validators. The reason why we didn't do this is because we did it once. The validators at that point of time, we had 19 validators in the Genesis. The validators were not available. So the blocks were not finalizing. So we need 2/3 of the validators to be available because of the proof of stake Byzantine tolerance BFT thing. So we need 2/3 n plus 1, where n is the number of validators. So out of 19 validators at that point of time, only 10 were available. So the blocks were not finalizing. So we cut out the 9 inactive, stuck with 10 active, and we have 10 active validators since then. But we are going to be distributing the Casper stake to you guys. So with the Casper stake, you can become validators. So if you are a node operator and then you have Casper, that's why you need Casper, then we turn you into a validator. All validators get initial allocation to the mainnet and also governance. Yes, it's a testnet. We're not making any money from running the testnet. Absolutely, we're not. But all that will convert to governance and also to the initial allocation for the node operator or for the validators. It's not going to be a lot. The allocation is going to be tiny, sure, but you will be validating transactions when nobody will. And you will be participating in governance, which is super fucking important. So, great question. Crypto Bureau. But we've been trying to, from the beginning, to set up nodes with as many users as possible, and that's exactly what we should be doing. Yes. So, perfect. And Chicks is asking, what about rewards? So, the best way to think about, again, this whole testnet scenario is you need to, what I would do is you need to think. So, if let's assume we initiate lots of rewards, right? Then people will be running nodes just for the rewards. When the rewards are over, for whatever reason, those nodes will start dropping. We're not interested to get such validators. So if you, as a node runner, are here just for the reward, because the reward is artificial anyways, because the stuff is not mainnet. If you're here just for the reward, maybe this is not the right project for you. And going back to the question Amit was asking, how many validators we need? If we have 1,000 validators who are here just for the reward, we will not be successful. No fucking way this project will be successful. Now, you'll say, well, wait a second, Harper, but how is that possible that, how is that possible that, Bitcoin is for the rewards and Ethereum is for the rewards? And that's wrong. Bitcoin was not for the rewards originally. Bitcoin was not for the rewards for the first 2 or 3 years. The community was there for the concept. And that's why the community is so fucking strong. Same thing with Ethereum. Same thing with Monero. Monero is delisted from privacy from central exchanges. It's delisted. Yet the community is still strong because they're there for the vision. We need people for the vision. Let me paraphrase. If we have 100 die-hard fans who run stuff with no rewards for 5 years, those 100 nodes are better than if we have 10,000 nodes who are here just for the rewards. And we thought about the incentives, what the incentives could be, but every single time we think about it, every single time we run into this issue, once those incentives, for whatever reason, get diminished, or in the eyes or in the heads of the node operators, those rewards are not good, like not good at all, right? Then what happens is they start dropping off. And then you have this like we have 100 nodes, then we have 80, then we have 50. Now that creates a negative thing. So for us, quality is super important. Quality is very important, but quantity is also important, right? It's like both are important. So the rewards that what I would do is understand the vision. If I like the vision, I'll stick. If I don't like the vision, leave. Don't waste your time. If you do like the vision, try to earn as many GMV tokens as you can. As many as you can. Refer friends, like tweets, be active in the main group because you can get GMV like that. Refer friends. Like refer friends, like the best one. Run a node because you'll be getting some mini drops for running a node, like 10 to 100 GMV depending on what you run. It's not an official policy. It's more like just a gift for now, right? So plus we're going to be doing definitely some airdrops, some giveaways, but don't rely on that. Rely on earning as many GMVs as you can. That's what you should do. And when you do that, that's how you earn your massive allocation. Plus on top of that, you'll also have the allocation for running a node as a validator. Okay? Gentlemen, we have to, and ladies, we have to finish up in a couple of minutes. I mean, if one wants to be a validator, how one go about Casper is rare as hell. Just ask, we'll send it. Casper is rare as hell. Ask us, we'll send it. Like, please ask. Like, that's it. Don't ask every hour. Like, please, let's not turn this whole Rails chat into this, bazaar where we just market, where we just keep pushing, hustling. Please don't, ask every 24 hours. Just please ask every 24 hours. We'll send it to you, and you'll get it. And that's the important thing. So for Casper, don't treat Casper as an airdrop. Treat Casper as your opportunity to become a validator, and treat Casper as this allocation that you practice to send and receive. Right. So we send this allocation to you guys. Right now, the next task will be to send some part of that Casper to other people as well, so you can practice how to use Ghost Eye. Okay, so the whole point of Casper is to know how to operate in the black screen. It's like an engagement thing. Okay. Plus, you're also learning how to operate on the Ghost Eye. And last thing that we are discussing, we're not sure that's going to be a thing yet, but chance it's going to be a thing. So Amit need 68. No, you'll need less. I think 68, 60 Casper. You'll probably need a little bit less. Ask that question in the Wales group, and we'll talk to you. You're referring to the fact that you need 69 Casper to become a validator. It's dropped. I believe it's dropped. You don't need that much. You can become a validator even if you don't have that much. Last thing, but that's a great question. Amit, thank you so much. Like great questions today. Last thing for today, Wales versus Ghost Bananas. So Cosmos did this as a meme. He's like, let's create a Discord community because Discord is evolving. So the idea was, okay, cool. So we have Ghost Whales and Telegram, but we also have a Discord server. We've been asked to become more active in Discord. We never really were that much active, although Discord has slightly different community. There's overlap, but slightly different community. And the question, how should we call a group? And Cosmos just said, listen, like maybe we should call it Ghost Bananas, maybe we should call it Ghost Sharks or whatever else he said. And people started just sending bananas. so, uh, so I mean, me personally, I don't know. I mean, but who am I? The community needs to vote, and Crypto Bro already sent a banana. So I think banana is the name, and I think if you guys like it, that's what we're gonna abide to. If that's a banana, the banana world, then it's a banana world. So be prepared for a battle between communities. It's going to be a friendly battle where we help each other. It's not going to be like this aggressive battle. It's more going to be like a self-inspiring battle where Ghost Whales will be fighting with Ghost Bananas for who is the best community. So Ghost Bananas will be a community on Discord, most likely. I think Cosmos is setting it up, but he'll share more details. I'm not sure what the timeline is. I think in the next 1 or 2 weeks we'll actually set up the official, like private group of Ghost Bananas with some rules and stuff. And then Ghost Whales is on Telegram, and those two communities, you can be part of both communities, of course. And then we just essentially, kind of battle with each other. And Meat says, "Let's go bananas." So same as yeah. So bananas is bananas. It is. It seems like. So that's a so bananas and whales will go ahead and screw and fight all the zombie chains in the world to hopefully get to the ranks of the cool ones such as Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, Zcash, Dash to some extent. What other chains? Maybe Cardano. I personally don't like Cardano, but it's a decentralized chain. It's a very decentralized chain. Tron. I don't like Tron, but when I found out how many validators they have, I'm like, oh, Tron is great. My opinion doesn't matter. If I see decentralization, my opinion does not fucking matter. On this positive note, whales and bananas. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Please, let's try to get above 105 just to beat the median by the year end. Let's do this. I'll talk to you guys next week. Happy New Year. Have a good one. Bye. Bye.